The Call of the Wild, Chapter 8. The Winner. At Dawson that winter, Buck did something that made him very famous in the Northland. Thornton, Hans, and Pete wanted to go to the east to look for gold, but they needed money. One day they were at the El Dorado saloon. "My dog can pull a sled with 500 pounds on it," said one man. "Well, my dog can pull 600 pounds, said another man. "Really? Well, my dog can pull 700 pounds, said a third man called Methuselah. "That's nothing," said Thornton. "Buck can pull 1,000 pounds." "Can he move the sled when it's frozen to the ice and then pull it 100 yards? asked Methuselah. "Yes, he can," said Thornton. "Well," said Methuselah, "I've got $1,000 here, and I say he can't." He took a bag of gold and put it on the table. Nobody spoke. Thornton thought, "I know Buck is strong, but is he really so strong?" The man at the saloon looked at him silently and waited. Thornton did not have $1,000, and his friends did not either. "I've got a sled outside with 1,000 pounds on it," Methuselah said. "Do you want to try?" Thornton did not know what to say. He looked at all the men. Then he saw his old friend Jim O'Brien. "Can you lend me $1,000, Jim?" Thornton said softly. "Sure," said O'Brien, "but I don't think your dog can do it." Everyone went into the street. A lot of men stood around Methuselah's sled. The sled was frozen to the ice because it was terribly cold. Methuselah was sure Buck could not win and said, "I'm paying another $400. What about you?" Thornton, Hans, and Pete talked together. They had only $200, and they added them to the $1,000. Buck felt the excitement in the air. He knew he must do something great for Thornton. Buck was in perfect condition. He was a splendid dog. Thornton sat down on the snow next to Buck. He held Buck's head in his hands and spoke softly in his ear. "If you love me, Buck, if you love me." Buck understood. He took Thornton's hand between his teeth and then let go. He often did this as a sign of his love. Everyone was silent. Thornton stood up and said, "Ready, Buck?" Buck pulled on the harness. "Right!" cried Thornton. Buck pulled to the right and stopped suddenly. "Now left!" cried Thornton. Buck pulled to the left. The ice was breaking. "No, mush!" Buck started to pull. His strong body pulled harder and harder. The sled moved a little. Suddenly, it started to go forward on the snow. Buck pulled it for 100 yards. He was the winner! The men shouted and threw their hats in the air. Thornton was on the snow with Buck. He took his head and shook it. He was crying with happiness. Buck had Thornton's hand between his teeth. In 5 minutes, Buck made $1,600 for Thornton and his friends. With this money, they could traveled to the east to look for a lost gold mine. No one knew where it was. It was a mystery. The three men with Buck and 6 other dogs started to go east. They traveled up the Stewart River and into the Mackenzie Mountains. Thornton was not afraid of the wild. He hunted his food during the day. Buck was very happy. He loved hunting, fishing, and traveling. They camped in different places and looked for gold. In the summer, they built small boats and crossed mountain lakes and went down rivers. The months passed and they continued to travel in the unknown country. In the winter, they found an old cabin, but they did not find the gold mine. Then in the spring, they found a stream with gold in it. It looked like yellow butter. Every day the men worked hard and found lots of gold. They put it in many big bags. Each bag had 50 pounds of gold. The dogs did nothing except watch the men and eat. Buck spent many hours sitting by the fire and dreaming. Sometimes during the day he heard a call from the forest. He listened and ran off into the forest. He loved running under the tall trees and looking at the birds. One night he woke up suddenly. He heard the call again. It came from the forest, and it was a long howl. He ran into the forest and followed the sound. He came to an open space in the trees and saw a wolf. He was sitting and his nose was up in the air. He was looking at the sky. Buck walked towards him slowly and silently. The wolf stopped howling and ran away. Buck followed him. After some time, the wolf stopped and growled at Buck. He was afraid because Buck was much bigger. But Buck did not want to fight. He wanted to make friends with the wolf. The wolf understood, and they touched noses. They became friends and played together. They ran for hours through the forest and under the open sky. Old memories came back to Buck. He was very happy. They stopped by a stream to drink, and Buck remembered John Thornton. The wolf wanted Buck to follow him, but Buck turned and slowly went back. The wolf followed him for a while. Then he sat down and howled. It was a sad howl. Thornton was eating dinner when Buck returned. He jumped all over Thornton and licked his face. For 2 days and nights, Buck never left camp. He followed Thornton everywhere, but soon Buck heard the call again. He thought about his wild brother and the forest. Buck began to sleep out at night. He stayed away from camp for 3 or 4 days. Once he stayed away for a week. He looked for his wild brother but could not find him. He fished in the streams and killed animals for food. Every part of his body was alive and healthy. He was stronger and faster than other dogs. There was so much energy in Buck. One day Buck was going to the forest and Thornton said, "What a fantastic dog." Hans and Pete agreed. Panggilan dari alam liar. Bab 8. Sang Pemenang. Dawson pada musim dingin itu, Buck melakukan sesuatu yang membuatnya sangat terkenal di Northland. Thornton, Hans, dan Pete ingin pergi ke timur untuk mencari emas, tetapi mereka membutuhkan uang. Suatu hari, mereka sedang berada di bar El Dorado. Anjingku bisa menarik kereta luncur dengan berat 500 pound di atasnya, kata seorang pria. Baiklah, anjingku bisa menarik 600 pound, kata pria lain. Benarkah? Baiklah, anjingku bisa menarik 700 pound, kata pria ketiga bernama Matthewson. Itu tidak ada apa-apanya, kata Thornton. Buck bisa menarik 1000 pound. Bisakah dia menggerakkan kereta luncur saat membeku di atas es dan kemudian menariknya sejauh 100 yard, kata Matthewson. Ya, dia bisa, kata Thornton. Baiklah, kata Matthewson. Aku punya $1000 di sini, dan aku berkata dia tidak bisa. Dia mengambil sekantong emas dan meletakkannya di atas meja. Tidak ada yang berbicara. Thornton berpikir, aku tahu Buck itu kuat, tapi apakah dia benar-benar kuat? Para pria di bar menatapnya dalam diam dan menunggu. Thornton tidak memiliki $1000 dan teman-temannya juga tidak punya. Aku punya kereta luncur di luar dengan 1000 pound di atasnya, Matthewson berkata. Apakah kamu ingin mencoba? Thornton tidak tahu harus berkata apa. Dia melihat ke arah semua orang. Kemudian dia melihat teman lamanya, Jim O'Brien. Bisakah kamu meminjamkan aku $1000, Jim? Thornton berkata dengan lirih. Tentu, kata O'Brien. Tapi kurasa anjingmu tidak bisa melakukannya. Semua orang pergi ke jalan. Banyak pria berdiri di sekitar kereta luncur Matthewson. Kereta luncur membeku di atas es karena cuaca sangat dingin. Matthewson yakin Buck tidak bisa menang dan berkata, aku membayar $400 lagi. Bagaimana denganmu? Thornton, Hans, dan Pete berbicara bersama. Mereka hanya memiliki $200 dan menambahkannya ke $1000. Buck merasakan kegembiraan di udara. Dia tahu dia harus melakukan sesuatu yang hebat untuk Thornton. Buck berada dalam kondisi yang sempurna. Dia adalah anjing yang luar biasa. Thornton duduk di atas salju di sebelah Buck. Dia memegang kepala Buck di tangannya dan berkata lirih di telinganya. Jika kamu mencintaiku, Buck, jika kamu mencintaiku. Buck mengerti. Dia meletakkan tangan Thornton di antara giginya dan kemudian pergi. Dia sering melakukan hal ini sebagai tanda cintanya. Semua orang diam. Thornton berdiri dan berkata, siap Buck. Buck menarik tali kekang. Kanan, teriak Thornton. Buck menarik ke kanan dan berhenti secara tiba-tiba. Sekarang kiri, teriak Thornton. Buck menarik ke kiri. Esnya mulai pecah. Sekarang march. Buck mulai menarik. Tubuhnya yang kuat menarik semakin keras. Kereta luncur itu bergerak sedikit. Tiba-tiba kereta luncur itu mulai bergerak maju di atas salju. Buck menariknya sejauh 100 yard. Dia adalah pemenangnya. Orang-orang berteriak dan melemparkan topi mereka ke udara. Thornton berada di salju bersama Buck. Dia meraih kepalanya dan menggelengkan kepalanya. Dia menangis bahagia. Buck menyelipkan tangan Thornton di antara giginya. Dalam 5 menit, Buck menghasilkan $1.600 untuk Thornton dan teman-temannya. Dengan uang ini, mereka bisa bepergian ke timur untuk mencari tambang emas yang hilang. Tidak ada yang tahu di mana itu. Tambang emas itu adalah sebuah misteri. 3 pria dengan Buck dan 6 anjing lain mulai pergi ke timur. Mereka melakukan perjalanan ke Sungai Stewart dan Gunung Mackenzie. Thornton tidak takut pada alam liar. Dia berburu makanannya di siang hari. Buck sangat senang. Dia suka berburu, memancing, dan bepergian. Mereka berkemah di tempat yang berbeda dan mencari emas. Di musim panas, mereka membuat perahu kecil dan menyeberangi danau, gunung, dan menyusuri sungai. Beberapa bulan berlalu, dan mereka melanjutkan perjalanan di kota yang tidak dikenal. Di Di musim dingin, mereka menemukan sebuah pondok tua, tetapi mereka tidak menemukan tambang emas. Kemudian, di musim semi, mereka menemukan sebuah sungai dengan emas di dalamnya. Bentuknya seperti mentega kuning. Setiap hari, orang-orang bekerja keras dan menemukan banyak emas. Mereka menaruhnya di banyak kantong besar. Setiap kantong berisi 50 pound. Para anjing tidak melakukan apapun kecuali melihat orang-orang dan makan. Buck menghabiskan waktu berjam-jam di dekat perapian dan bermimpi. Kadang-kadang pada siang hari, dia mendengar suara panggilan dari dalam hutan. Dia mendengarkan dan berlari ke hutan. Dia suka berlari di bawah pohon-pohon yang tinggi dan melihat burung-burung. Suatu malam, dia bangun tiba-tiba. Dia mendengar panggilan itu lagi. Suara itu datang dari hutan dan merupakan lolongan panjang. Dia berlari ke hutan dan mengikuti suara itu. Dia sampai di ruang terbuka di antara pepohonan dan melihat seekor serigala. Serigala itu sedang duduk dan hidungnya terangkat ke udara. Dia sedang melihat ke arah langit. Buck berjalan ke arahnya secara perlahan dan tanpa suara. Serigala itu berhenti melolong dan melarikan diri. Buck mengikutinya. Setelah beberapa saat, serigala itu berhenti dan menggeram ke arah Buck. Dia takut karena Buck jauh lebih besar. Tetapi Buck tidak ingin berkelahi. Dia ingin berteman dengan serigala itu. Serigala itu mengerti dan mereka menyentuhkan hidung. Mereka menjadi teman dan bermain bersama. Mereka berlarian berjam-jam melewati hutan dan di bawah langit terbuka. Kenangan lama datang kembali ke Buck. Dia sangat senang. Mereka berhenti di sungai untuk minum dan Buck mengingat John Thornton. Serigala itu ingin Buck mengikutinya. Tapi Buck berbalik dan perlahan kembali. Serigala itu mengikutinya selama beberapa saat. Kemudian dia duduk dan melolong. Itu adalah lolongan yang menyedihkan. Thornton sedang makan malam ketika Buck kembali. Buck melompat ke Thornton dan menjilati seluruh wajahnya. Selama 2 hari 2 malam, Buck tidak pernah meninggalkan perkemahan. Dia mengikuti Thornton kemanapun. Tetapi tak lama kemudian, Buck mendengar suara panggilan lagi. Dia memikirkan tentang saudaranya yang masih liar di hutan. Buck mulai tidur di luar pada malam hari. Dia menjauh dari perkemahan selama 3 atau 4 hari. Suatu ketika, dia menjauh selama seminggu. Dia mencari saudaranya yang liar tetapi tidak dapat menemukannya. Dia memancing di sungai dan membunuh hewan untuk dimakan. Setiap bagian tubuh Buck penuh energi dan sehat. Dia lebih kuat dan lebih cepat daripada anjing-anjing yang lainnya. Ada banyak energi dalam diri Buck. Suatu hari, Buck pergi ke hutan dan Thornton berkata, "Anjing yang luar biasa." Hans dan Pete setuju.